Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Chamber check-in time. And today I have the pleasure of sharing Chamber member business with Danny Gutierrez. Danny is the territory manager of Heartland Payment Services. Hi, Danny.
Hi there, Paul. Thanks for having me on today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for carving out a little bit of time. Um, these check-ins, Danny, are really great ways of telling your business story, and I love sharing the personal stories of the people behind the business. But before we get to that, Danny, I get to thank our series sponsor for these check-ins, and Danny, it's Delta Dental of Idaho. And I know you know that Delta Dental provides best-in-class dental insurance benefits to Idahoans, and they've been doing it for over 50 years. And with that, I'm going to share a fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
Delta Dental first introduced the HOW program 3 years ago. HOW, or Health Through Oral Wellness, is a patient-centered program that adds additional preventive benefits to those at high risk for dental disease. HOW benefits include additional cleanings, sealants, fluoride, as well as medicated mouth rinses and toothpastes. It's a definite differentiator in the marketplace for your employees.
Thank you, Delta Dental. Danny, you and I have known each other for the past few years, and we knew each other from Little League. And that was a great way of meeting you and learning about your business. And then since then, you've been a chamber member and been involved in our tips groups and been an active member. So I wanted to first thank you for that. And so the business of merchant services is large, and we have several members that are merchant services, and that helps get business done. So tell us a little bit about Heartland. Let's start with Heartland. Kind of tell us the origin story, when and where, and when did it make its way to Idaho?
Well, it's interesting because back in 1997, the founders they owned a tire store, tire slash convenience store, and sold gas, and they needed to find a way to make it convenient. And so it was really the infancy of the pay at the pump type scenario. They had these ideas that they wanted to bring to market. They'd actually gone to a number of different banks. Nobody wanted to lend them money, and Heartland Bank ponied up the capital to get us started, and here we are as Heartland. So
Wow.
I think we bought them out since then, though.
So this company, Heartland, is a national merchant service company that started out as a tire company.
It did, and it's morphed, from just a two-man shop to the point where now we're owned by Global Payments, a Fortune 400 company. We serve almost 1 million rooftops throughout the United States, across all different platforms, whether it's e-commerce, brick and mortar, text to pay. We've got a payroll arm. It's really, really incredible what we've been able to do.
Well, that just shows the innovativeness of the folks who started the organization. When you have an issue and you find a solution and go with that, there's probably tons of that kind of thing that goes on in a business from year to year. Like, hey, how can we solve XYZ issue, and what do we need? So that's really cool. Danny, tell us a little about you and your background. How did you land in the merchant services industry, and when did you come to Idaho?
Well, that's an interesting question. So I came to Idaho by way of Mercy Hospital in Nampa. So I was born and raised here in the Valley, and my parents were educators, teachers in Nampa, born in Caldwell. So I traveled with them to school. So I had kind of the best of both worlds. I played sports throughout high school and was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Utah State and played football there for a little while. I lived in Seattle for a couple of years afterwards, and I've been back to Boise ever since. So I'm a local guy. And believe it or not, I didn't have aspirations as a child to grow up to be a financial service or a payment guy. It wasn't on the books. I wanted to play pro football. But I became a financial advisor, a registered rep out of college. And for 13, 14 years, I had clients that were doctors and lawyers, mechanics. It didn't matter what they did. They all seemed to have a common story that they didn't understand, and they had a horrible experience with their payment processor. And so I looked into it and realized that the industry itself didn't have a really great reputation, and for good reason. There hadn't been a whole lot of oversight or recourse or repercussions for companies saying one thing and doing another. And so I took it on as an opportunity. I wanted to learn about the industry and go and provide a service that was transparent and fair. And so for the last 7 years, I've had my hand in one way or another.
Wow. Well, we've met and talked about your history quite a bit, and I just want to let everybody know that the credibility and quality, Danny, that you exude is top notch, my friend. And if anybody's curious about businesses and their credibility, Heartland is one of those.
Appreciate
so
that.
Danny, you mentioned a little bit about some of the solutions and products that you offer. Why don't you dive a little bit deeper and help educate me and the listeners on what Heartland provides its clients?
Well, Heartland Payment started as a payment company, and so we definitely do merchant services, whether it's the brick and mortar, the old credit card terminal that's on top of a desk, as you check out from somewhere. We do that, and we do that really well, and we've always have. To the point where now, though, a big portion of it is e-commerce, being able to embed ourselves and live on a website or in point of sale systems. Text to pay has become really, really big, where we can shoot an invoice to someone's cell phone or to their email, and they can open it up and they can pay for it on the go. Security is huge, and Heartland's really, really big about making sure that our clients' information and then their clients' information is completely secure. So we have an end-to-end encryption. So all of the software and the hardware that we use goes through some really vigorous testing before we even go to market with it. To the point where we're almost slower sometimes to market with new machines, because we won't run that risk of getting hacked and those types of things. So we're very, very secure. But that's the merchant side of things, the merchant services side of things. We realize that, if you own a business, you've probably have gotten a call this week, if not multiple, of someone saying, "Hey, I do merchant services. I can save you some money." And I think to say that, one, just kind of leads to that terrible persona that we've created for ourselves in the industry, where it shouldn't be price driven. First and foremost, I don't know what you're paying, so I don't know if I could save you some money. There's only 100 pennies in every dollar.
Right.
I do know this, though. I know that sometimes there's hidden markup. I know that sometimes there's ways that we run a transaction that aren't optimized, and so you're getting downgraded fees. I know that sometimes you're not getting paid in a timely manner, or there's disputes and people are saying that wasn't me, but it really was, and no one's going to bat for you. So we have all these little nuances that we've come to market with, where as opposed to not just saving you money, it'll always make sense financially, but we bring you some value-added propositions and business tools to help increase revenues, to help run your business more efficiently.
How many team members do you have here in the state of Idaho, Danny?
So here in Idaho right now, we've got 3 besides myself on the payment side of things, and we've got 1 payroll person, which, by the way, the payroll side of things, we're ranked from a third-party, non-biased institution as one of the top payroll companies in the country. Not the largest, but one of the top for efficiencies and so forth. And so we can do that. The whole idea is we want to make sure that people get the one Heartland experience, where they can call into one phone number and they can handle all the different business solution issues that they have without having someone to research and say, "Well, let me put you on hold and read your file and get caught up with it." That won't happen with us. But there's 3 of us now. We're 3 or 4, including me. And I'm looking actually for another rock star, someone that really wants to show up and provide that value to their clients, and then make a really, really wonderful living for their family.
Okay, so you've got boots on the ground here, and you're growing. We're looking for talent. Where are you headquartered here? Is there a brick and mortar space? Tell me about that.
So we've always had the beautiful idea of we work out of our homes. We can go, there's no territories. Today, actually, I'm broadcasting from Twin Falls, Idaho, where my future in-laws have a home, because we're installing a point of sale system called Heartland Register at Cloverleaf Farm Market, which is the 3rd location of Cloverleaf Creamery's ice cream shops. And so I came down here on a whim. We have to install the machine, And I'm here at my in-laws' place. So we work out of our own homes. We have partnerships with different banks around town where we utilize their facilities and so forth. But it really is kind of an organic situation where if we're at home or if we're at our office, we're not really making money. We're in our clients' places of business. That's where we can really provide the value.
Well, you just mentioned to me about knowing a little bit about your client, and I think that might be something that sets you apart. Tell me more about that.
Well, I think it is a consultative approach, that I'm not saying that the people that we compete with don't do that. I know that we make it a point to do so. We just got back from our Diamond Conference in Oklahoma City just the last month, and Vince, our president and longtime employee, has been with us for 20 plus years, which, by the way, when you see employees that started with a bag, out there outside sales, and today he's the president of the company. Yeah. And then you have a bunch of his cronies and people in between that have been here for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That the culture is what keeps us here. We have a pay comp plan and a wonderful 401k and stock options and all that. That gets us here, but it's the people that keep us here, right? And what Vince said is, admittedly so, over time, we've always came to the market with, hey, look at this really pretty widget. Let's go sell it. And we did really well doing that. There's a lot of companies that do well, but it comes down to how well you can sell it. We've been missing the mark. So they went back, revamped it, and said, what do our customers need? What do they want? And then based on that feedback, we build the widget that's going to meet those needs. And so we'll go in, we'll talk to a small business, whether it's the taco truck down the street or Prestige Water Sports on Main Street or, C Square Marketing Company that's got this beautiful headquarters in Meridian that's nationwide. And we'll ask them what's important to them. We'll do an audit, figure out what's working, what's not. And then if we have solutions that might help it, then hopefully we're the ones that they choose.
Well, that takes it all the way back to the very beginning. Whatever the issue is, finding the solution and executing on it. I think that's tremendous. Hey, tell me a little bit about tech in merchant services. You mentioned text to pay, but enlighten me a little bit more on how tech is serving your clients and the industry overall.
Well, it's come a long way. It used to be where you literally would just go replace a terminal that was sitting on their checkout counter and you're off and running. But today there's point of sale systems that we have to be able to integrate with, or that we actually produce ourselves. There's e-commerce integrations, whether it's talking to WooCommerce or Magento, being able to create the API code. That's way in over my head. Actually, we've got some really smart people back at headquarters that handle, which, by the way, our customer service is top notch, world class, out of Jeffersonville, Indiana, not India. When you call, people answer within 3 seconds. You're going to talk to a person, not a recording. There's just a lot of things that we still do as a company that a lot of people have moved away from because of technology. That being said, we understand that we got to be progressive with the tools and solutions that we offer. For instance, our customer intelligence, our data analytics that comes behind our payment processing. I don't know of too many competitors, or any for that matter, that offer the ability to tap into the information that we gather when someone runs their card through your system. It tells us how old they are, how much money they make, where they live, where our customers are coming from. Imagine if I said, Mr. Customer, think about your most favorite client and what you love about them. And what if we could find out the little nuances about that client and then have them repeated, have 10 more, 20 more of those clients come into your store every day or every month. And with our analytics, it tells us that not only how often they're coming to our store, how often they're buying from us, but how often they're going to our competitors. And with the move of a mouse, we can now access analytics that multi-billion-dollar companies pay lots of money for.
Wow. But
now you don't have to, you could do it as a small business with those type of tools at your disposal. So another example would be our email marketing campaign. You hear of things like MailChimp that cost $400 or $500 a month. We have something almost just as robust for $55 a month. You can turn it on. You can run these email campaigns. When you open it up on your phone, that customer has already said, yes, I want to be notified. And then you drive by the place of business, one of our clients, and that client now sends a push notification, says, "Hey, you've been to our store. Why don't you come by and have this lunch today?" So the geofencing, it's all integrated. It's amazing what we can do these days.
Wow. Hey, are you the only Heartland here in the state of Idaho, or is there something up north Idaho, or tell me about, or eastern Idaho?
We've got some reps up in northern Idaho that report to the Spokane office or whatnot.
Okay.
But we are in charge of all of southern Idaho, eastern Idaho, northern Utah, and eastern Oregon. That being said, we really don't have territories, if you will. I've got clients that, for instance, all the Javas that are around town in Sun Valley, those are clients of mine. We also have a Java that's in Indiana, where they've expanded to. So I've got clients in Florida and California. So there are no boundaries where we can work.
That's cool. Danny, I'm going to put your website and your personal cell phone here on the screen. I hope you don't mind.
No.
Why don't you finish off our conversation today by telling me and educating the listeners on the passion that Heartland has for the communities that they serve?
Well, I'll tell you what, Paul, you and I met through North Boise Little League, and if you go and visit one of these baseball games this afternoon or on Saturday on 3 different teams, you'll see Heartland on the back of those jerseys, just like a lot of our other small businesses that are both, chamber members and sponsors for North Boise Little League. It's important that we're embedded in our community, not for the notoriety. I don't get a lot of people calling me because we have Heartland on the back of a jersey, but we want to make sure that people understand that we do know what it takes to start a business, the time, the hours that it takes away from your family and so forth. And so we try to embed ourselves in the same practice. And, that just goes to say, like, one of the reasons that I do what I do and I represent Heartland, we make our own hours, is so that I can be out there at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock coaching my little boy and his teammates. At the same time, being able to empower ourselves and give those kids an out so that their parents can run their small businesses or work their 9 to 5 and so forth. But we sponsor different leagues. We have a community day of service throughout the nation, and actually from a worldwide perspective when it comes to global payments. And then one of the things that we've done too is we've created a nonprofit give or share program where, for instance, we've got one of our local coffee shops here. It was really important to them to be able to give back to a cause of their heart. And so we actually take a portion of Heartland's profit and have it diverted to the 501(c) of their choice.
Oh, great.
And so every month there's a check going to this nonprofit from the processing that they were already doing. And so we find ways to give back as much as we possibly can.
That's incredible. Danny, I just want to adjourn today and thank you for your continued partnership with us. Thank you for the work that you're doing in the community to help train that next generation of leaders. And thank you for your investment in the chamber. It means a lot.
Well, Paul, it's my pleasure to be a part of this, and let me know how I can continue to expand and edify the chamber, because you guys do some wonderful things.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. I'll see you at the ball field.
Take care.